Yeah. For the end of this cycle, for me, I think Ethereum is going to hit 10. I think it's going to be 10K. There's been predicted for a while that we're going to push for the 10, Bitcoin for 100K, and Ethereum for 10. And I believe that that'll probably hit that. There'll be some consolidation along the way, but for sure, I think we're in for a fun ride.
And can you see an 80% correction during crypto winter as Plan B suggests?
I I don't know. I think the strength, depending if we're going back into a full-on lockdown in this space, then there may be some real kind of people kind of jumping and getting a bit afraid of the whole thing and really consolidating back. But yeah, for me, I don't think so. I don't think we're going there.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hangry Animals, a collection of 11,111 generative art pieces that represent characters of an up-and-coming HangryVerse/metaverse movie experience. That's right. Now check it. There are 5 pieces to collect and any number of combinations to add to your collection of animals. Also note there will be hidden among the total collection a series of ultra, super rare, and collectors as well as general species for you to enjoy and own. Now let's meet some of the Hangry Animals. We got Hangry Hippo, we have Hangry Moose, Hangry Ape, Hangry Bear, Hangry Hippo Rare Gold, and Hangry Zebra. Also note that holding more than 5 Hangry Animal NFTs will hold a special utility in the near future too. So the goal is to see if you can collect them all. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click the link in the description right down below and visit hangryAnimals.com today to check it out for yourself. And let's get these NFTs. And please note this is a paid sponsorship, so please do your own research. Hey, what's good, crypto fam? JV back with another special episode of Crypto News Alerts, interview style. I have the founders of Hangry Animals, Andrew Minson, as well as CoinBurn on the line with us right now. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, how's it going?
It's doing great, man. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Thanks for being available around the holidays. So where are you out of right now, Andrew, and what's going on?
Yeah, I'm in the UK. I'm based out of Wales in the UK. Sunny Wales. No, it's not sunny. It's always raining. 90% rain, but we love it.
Oh my God, how do you do it? It's like 90% sunshine where I'm at here in Florida. Yeah. How about you, CoinBurn?
So I live in the crypto triangle of power. So is what I call it, kind of between Miami, Puerto Rico, and Dubai. Which I found is the best place to be if you're in crypto and you're American and you're building and developing.
I would say the holy trinity for Bitcoin, right?
It really is.
Cool. Well, I'm anxious to talk about Hangry Animals and how all this came about. But before we even dive into that, what are your current thoughts and perspectives on the current state of the crypto market? I'll start with you, Andrew.
Do you know what? I take it all in my stride when it comes to sort of the volume, the way things are, bear, bull market, however it rolls. I kind of roll with the punches, to be honest with you. And is as I see it, I'll consolidate. I'll take my winnings, my losses, and roll with the punches. And that's me at the moment. But keeping an eye on the other chains and the sort of the progression of sort of the layer 2s and that. But yeah, for now, I'm just holding my breath, really.
Right on. And what year did you get introduced to crypto?
2018, sort of, yeah, mid 2018. And, and then obviously in the build up to COVID and whatnot, just spiking and investing and looking at the marketing side of it. So that's where my bag is, in sort of the visual identity, branding and marketing side of it. So it was just that interest of, where does the world go when everybody goes online, and how do we cope with that, and how do we still communicate, how do we live? So yeah, that's
good question. So you got in crypto right at the height of like the bear market. How about yourself, CoinBurn? What's your current perspective on the crypto market? When did you get involved?
All right. Well, I've been involved in financial markets since at least 1999, which is far longer than anybody ever should be. And my background is in high frequency trading and also fintech. And in around 2013, that's when I started developing BTC trading algorithms with some like microstructure quants. It was a little early in the game because a lot of the like APIs for trading were not robust. They were constantly changing every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. It'd be like a different fixed API we would use. So it was just, it was kind of like in 2014, Bitcoin was a waste of my time. which
Oh my God.
kind of crazy to say, right? And then I got into like looking into building like gateways for Ripple, like for fiat on ramp, off ramps in 2015, and then I was working on and consulting to a bunch of different crypto projects from around 2017 to 2020. While I was in Dubai. So I have a pretty good perspective, just in terms of like a global macro perspective, at least. And I just kind of think that whatever you're seeing out of the Federal Reserve and like ECB in response to like pandemic and whatever you want to label this thing, the pandemic for some. It's going to affect the overall crypto space in a big way. And since around May of this year, in 2021, I actually got kind of like slightly bearish on Bitcoin. There was this gigantic like wedge type of pattern that just made me really bearish on it all. And I exited all positions there, like right near the top, that April-May kind of top. And I just figured, well, we're probably going to get into some prolonged period of like very volatile, sideways, choppy markets, which has been the case. I mean, for the that's actually what's kind of panned out. I know today, looking at like Matic on a daily chart over the last few months, it's made a new all-time high earlier today in the session, and it just looks like kind of toppy to me. Like it looks like it's kind of like a terminal toppy pattern. So I just kind of feel like, look, overall, in terms of the crypto markets, you're going to see a lot of sideways action for the next, possibly another year and a half. That's my opinion. And I do feel like, we have a very high probability for stagflation in the United States and Europe. And there's also there is a possibility that this entire scenario results. Like it transitions from this kind of contained recession, contained depression kind of environment to just like full-blown hyperinflation. And if that happened, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise anyone. And I know that a lot of, like the big crypto bag holders, they're betting on it. And they talk about it almost religiously. And they've been talking about that since, kind of day one. Because really, for most of the guys in crypto, they've been just seeing, what really in my mind started back in like in the late 90s in the Asian crisis, like bailing out LTCM and, Alan Greenspan, just like his reaction to that all. And just kind of like, that was like one of the first times where the Federal Reserve really stepped in and bailed out a hedge fund. And then the continuation of that under, GW, going into Gulf War II. And then after that, just like pumping. Then we get into this 2008 crash. And then, Bitcoin is kind of born from that around the same time, at least. And then, you've just seen for the last 20 years, this just consistent mentality of, like central banks and their country's respective treasuries just to pump, like their response to everything. If there's a problem, just pump, print more dollars, let's pump. And obviously that's going to have an impact on inflation and that's why we're all here today, because that also like inadvertently paved the way for financial innovation and forced fintech developers to take a good hard look at crypto development as a whole. So that's it's a long-winded response, but I think now it's
Right
time
on.
to give that kind of response.
Yeah, hyperinflation is very real, very real. I know Bitcoin just had its highest position versus like the Turkish lira. Some are saying that's part of the reason why a lot of the markets are like pumping right now. The government's willing to admit like inflation is 6%, but if anyone goes to Zillow and looks in their local neighborhood where they live, they can see properties going up like 30% per year, and they're just going to continue to print and print and print. Now, you mentioned you exited most of your Bitcoin position at the height, which I believe is around 69,000 for this cycle thus far. Did you move it all into alts, or do you keep a certain percentage in stable coins? I was just curious what you do.
You know, I just have this kind of more of like global macro approach to it all. And, I did miss some of those altcoin pumps for sure. And I've just been honestly since around May focusing on, some of the projects that are near and dear to me. And so I've been more focusing on development since around May of 2021 and trying to not focus on the noise of extremely volatile like altcoin crypto markets.
Right on. Now let's talk about the NFT space. I know I just read a report released by crypto.com, and they say the biggest emerging sector in crypto right now is NFTs. And they project for 2022 it to continue to be the biggest emerging sector. So why don't you introduce Hangry Animals and how you came across this and what this even means? My first perception is a hungry and angry animal. Is that accurate?
Yeah, man, that's exactly where we position it. Really, it's that hangriness, but angriness as well. This sort of thirst. I think that thirst or that hunger for something, or to complete something, do something, or to challenge the norm, really. And like I was saying, the whole concept and the idea around the project started as a joke between myself and Coin, where we thought, let's get into this position in NFT space and experiment, try something. What can we do in this space that we're unfamiliar with, or push the boat out? So Coin came up with a concept around hangry hippos, and I was thinking, dude, that's lining yourself up for someone suing you straight away. So it's like, time out. This thing is something different. And what about animals? Hangry animals. That gives you that freedom, that gives you the diversity. And if you're thinking about a large collection, it also gives you the scope to put multiple animals and multiple species in there. And I guess that's the spawn of the original idea, was we could do something with multiple animals. What can you do with a hippo? And I started illustrating something just on a live stream on Twitch, and I made this concept, and I was like, there you go. What do you think of this? And Kyle was like, dude, this is amazing. Well, can we do some more? And so, what other animals do you want to do? With looking at the space and the inspiration behind the NFTs around, non-fungible heroes or Kid Cosmic cartoon, turtles, 80s cartoons, and the concepts of the fun, the unlimited or clean fun that came from that kind of 80s cartoon era. So we started with that, really. We started with the artwork and what could we do with it? And it's just spawned from there. It spawned into this story, 11,101 NFTs that are generative. So they are, variances of the 5 species and all the different characters from there. But essentially, we've got an awesome backstory that's grown out of nothing for 5 species, for an additional character that is the central human character in the space called Leon Strom. Yeah, man, this is the space where I excel, because I love the bridging of creativity and innovation. And crypto's right there right now, where you have these amazing smart contract concepts for financial engineering, but then how can you apply some really slick, cool artwork and bring utility to that piece of art? My background is 20 years of animation production, TV commercial production world, branding and concept. So for me, understanding the utility that you can apply behind a piece of art, but also thinking about it, we're trying to fund a project, trying to raise funds for a project, for TV, for series work, for a movie, for example. This is a really interesting space to experiment with that. How could you provide utility to someone who buy into a project, and down the line, they see a full-blown movie created. So that is the Hangry Animals stretch goal here, is that we end up with a metaverse movie from the Hangry Animals project.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a few basic things I want to touch upon because maybe my audience is not too familiar with. What makes an NFT so attractive to people? Most people still don't really understand it. And how does the movie play in a metaverse? It's a concept that's even new to me. So if you can dive a little deeper into that, I think that'd be valuable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chime in if you want as well, Coin.
Yeah, I can give some insight here. I mean, really what you're seeing is this kind of like, arms race to create the best NFT platform with the most users, and what does that really look like? So now you've just enabled everybody and their grandmother to create NFTs on your platform with some kind of lazy minting process. So I can just take a picture of my coffee in the morning, and now it's like some lazy minted NFT, which obviously, if you do that enough times, then everybody's NFTs become absolutely worthless. So we're seeing a lot of that going on right now. But at the same time, it's really cool because you're enabling folks to cross over into this world where they know nothing about crypto, but now they're like, they knew about crypto before, now they're crypto curious, and now they're willing to dip a toe in the water and get their feet wet. So where we see, where we live as developers, is to be in the space where you can increase your odds or probability of success. And that's really by providing liquidity, or excuse me, utility, by providing utility to our NFTs. We believe that we're able to do that. So the Hangry Animals concepts, we need to touch on that. The main concept is we are making this feature-length film for Hangry Animals, and there are 11,111 Hangry Animals characters.
Hey, can I stop you there? 11 is very significant to me. I was born on the 11th. My daughter was born on the 11th. I've always had a high significance. So I was curious, why did you choose 11,111 personally?
Because it sounded cooler than 10,000, which is what every other project is doing, and that's the honest answer. So there's really no reason other than that. And yeah, obviously it sounds cool. It's more like symmetrical when you look at it on a piece of paper. So that's why we did it. So, but really just getting back to like, why are we here? What are we doing? We have all 11,111 Hangry Animals characters that are all up for audition in the Hangry Animals movie. So just like a Tamagotchi style game, you now have the ability, if you own one of these characters, to train it to become an actor in the Hangry Animals film. So for example, if you wanted your Hangry Animals character to become like the Vin Diesel of the Hangry Animals movie, well, then you'd have to train it and to undergo like a lot of the same types of training that a guy like Vin Diesel might undertake before taking her lead role, which means physical training, paying for acting school and tuition. How do you pay for that tuition? Well, you might have to take out a loan through like the Hangry Animals Bank or through some kind of like peer-to-peer Hangry Animals lending scheme, right? What if you are an entrepreneur and you want to perhaps get in on some of the revenue that's generated from the Hangry Animals talent agency? Well, you're able to do that. You can stake. You'll be able to stake through a mechanism and earn like utility coins as some of these Hangry Animals IP entertainment contracts are fulfilled. So we're really taking this to a whole new level. Like, I know you probably understand the concept of Hollywood, as most people do, at least on the surface, but we're taking this to a totally new level where it's a very uh, interesting and innovative new approach to Hollywood digital rights management. And you have to start wrapping your brain around the concept of full-blown artificial intelligence, or full-blown artificial intelligently generated characters with their own personalities that live in some kind of like artificial intelligence engine or environment. And so how does that affect Hollywood digital rights management when, let's say, for example, you have somebody like Justin Bieber who could in 10 years from now just say, well, I don't feel like showing up for today's magazine photo shoot. Why don't you guys just use my name, image, and likeness and my like Justin Bieber like 4D volumetric scanned image of myself for this photo shoot. So he doesn't even need to get out of bed, but they're still using the Justin Bieber like artificial intelligently driven character, right? So just imagine that, because that's really what's going to happen. It is guaranteed going to happen. But we're taking that concept and we're early innovators and adopters of these types of concepts, and we're applying that to Hangry Animals. And we are developing Hangry Wood.
Hangry Wood, that's hilarious. And what about, I know you on the website it says there was a yacht party going down there in Miami, Florida. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so on December 2nd, we had a yacht party that was during Art Basel. And like during, let's call it now Tech Basel. So really like the whole crypto and NFT space is like in a large part taken over the whole Art Basel week. So Hangry Animals had this really cool yacht party where we had augmented reality experiences. So our guests were able to use goggles and learn to paint in these like 4D like doodles and paint sketches using augmented reality glasses. We created on the ship, one of our artists, Kenyon Tyler, did a group collaborative painting, which what we're doing is we're locking onto the painting, similar to like a QR code, and then we can use goggles to paint or like doodle on top of that. So you've created this kind of like AI layer to a painting, augmented reality layer to a painting, where you can only see that augmented reality layer when you're using the headset or the goggles or some kind of app on your phone that you kind of like wave over the painting like a magic wand, which allows you to see the augmented reality environment. And then so this piece will be auctioned off with proceeds going to the Mason family elephant farm in Bali, and also Saving Ganesh, which is an organization that helps elephants in Sri Lanka to maintain their natural corridors. So it's not like a farm or a sanctuary. Their belief is more like, hey, just let the elephants be the way that they want to be. And also to Create with Code, which is a really cool like tuition scholarship program for young students 13 years of age and up to learn how to code with Unity to create applications and environments for metaverse. So which kind of leads us into something that we should touch upon. And I'll let Andrew take the reins on this one, but Andrew, I think you should talk to him about how we're building 3D skins for some of the animals and leveraging Unity and Unreal.
Yeah. So obviously, with our collection of NFTs will be sort of 2D, kind of traditional cartoon-esque kind of NFTs, but the intention is that eventually those NFTs, once connected to a metaverse, or may build our own HangryVerse, that you can immerse yourself inside that environment and be wearing one of the Hangry Animal skins. So it's connected to your metadata. So whatever NFT you mint, where you have a bowler hat or you have a green T-shirt with whatever slogan on there, all of those things transfer into the metaverse. So we're building those 3D skins to, in order for people to immerse themselves in that experience, walk around and free to roam with inside metaverses, or go to events, attend meetings and whatnot, and then provide additional utility and features while wearing those skins, because the new technology allows you to control the mouse and lip sync. So as you are talking to other people, or if you look in the reflection or in a mirror within the metaverse, you will see a hippo, you will see the zebra as the skin that you're wearing. So it's a really cool, I suppose it's a segue into furries in a way, digital virtual furries. But yeah, it's an expansive space that we're trying to kind of create.
Nice. And is there an NFT marketplace you're developing that goes along with it, where people could maybe trade their skins and so forth? Or how's that all work?
So there are two parts to that answer, really. That we want the ability for people to swap NFTs and exchange their NFTs, because holding one of each of the species has special utility within the ecosystem. But also, yes, trading the skins, using those skins in different spaces is also going to be part of the functionality, for sure. Where we're in partnership, and we're in talks with a partnership for a licensing agreement for these skins to be used in multiple existing games, future games, and all that kind of good stuff, really. But absolutely, I mean, the community itself is starting to bring great ideas about a swap DEX, the ability to swap NFTs that they need in order to create their collection and build their FI for the future of what it can do. And it does segue into the utility of the NFTs around staking. So naturally, people want to know, what's the financial goals? What's the outcome for us when we come to staking?
That was actually my next question. So please do answer.
So with certain levels of rarities and different animals. So we have the base level. We have an 80s thematic slogan style level that has a more of an expansive level of NFTs. But then we go into gold, platinum, diamond, and then we have a super ultra rare level and a hangry rare level as well at the top. So with all of that, you've got to have a hangry rare level. So with all of those different utilities, we have the ability to provide staking multipliers. So whatever, depending on which NFT you're in possession of, that there will be staking multipliers for that. But equally, there's much more sort of utility that we're building in now as we evolve the project and as the community feeds back to us what they think is cool. And yeah, it's a fun ride, man. It's a fun ride.
Nice. And how can my audience learn more about participating, like in the private sale? Where would you direct them to go? Of course, I'll include in the show notes below the video, in the description, all the links so they can plug in and do their own due diligence.
Sure. So hangryanimalz.com is the website. If you visit there, and also jump into the Discord channel. So Discord is where most of the community is. So there's lots of competitions. There's lots of sort of pushes to Twitter and whatnot. So yeah, we're quite active in there, and there's loads of competitions to win NFTs and also to join the journey with us.
Nice. And I ask all my guests this because everyone wants to know everyone's opinion. But do you mind sharing your personal price prediction for this cycle high for the king of all crypto, or Ethereum, or whatever you feel comfortable with sharing?
Yeah. For the end of this cycle, for me, I think Ethereum is going to hit 10. I think it's going to be 10K. It's been predicted for a while that we're going to push for the 10, Bitcoin for 100K, and Ethereum for 10. And I believe that'll probably hit that. There'll be some consolidation along the way, but for sure, I think we're in for a fun ride.
And can you see an 80% correction during crypto winter, as Plan B suggests?
I don't know. I think the strength, depending if we're going back into a full-on lockdown in this space, then there may be some real kind of people kind of jumping and getting a bit afraid of the whole thing and really consolidating back. But yeah, for me, I don't think so. I don't think we're going there.
Right on. Thanks for sharing it. How about you, Coin? What are any price predictions you can share regarding BTC ETH?
Well, I think like your first ceiling on ETH is going to be around like 5,800, and then you just have to kind of feel out, Do you think it's going to go further? It's hard to predict right now because I just feel like we could be in some kind of consolidation for a lot longer than anybody thinks. In terms of crypto winters, I mean, usually you do get drops between like 88 to 92%, and it's not unheard of. Could it happen again? Absolutely. And that's why all of the projects that I'm involved with are sports and entertainment related, and the associated revenue to those projects does not necessarily rely on crypto economies. So, for example, if we're doing a Hangry Animals film and the crypto markets just completely get obliterated, but at the same time we have totally insane revenues coming in on the movie, then what we could do is actually use like a portion of the revenues to support our own ecosystem so that we're not as affected and we could outperform against everybody else. That's the way I view it. During COVID, these streaming services have done extremely well. And, everybody from like music artists to like film producers have definitely been reaping the rewards during COVID and like subsequent lockdowns. It's entirely unpredictable as to how long COVID will be around and affecting us to the degree that it has.
I feel you. Appreciate you sharing. And when can we expect the HangryVerse movie experience to be released? Is this something coming out in 2022? Is it something already almost done? Is it something that needs to still be created? Where are you guys at?
Well, I mean, right now, we're planning our pre-production for like Q1, Q2, like very early pre-production next year. That could take some time, and we would. Right now, we're in a position where we would love to start shooting in around Q4, like late Q3 or Q4 of 2022. So this is it's a process. We're not trying to rush anything, and we'll probably start off with just like a flat screen version of the movie, and then it will eventually over time we'll be able to create like almost like a metaverse / augmented reality experience for the movie. So think about, to me, what would be really cool in an ideal world is that you're watching the movie and then you just kind of like hit some button on a pair of goggles that you have sitting like laying on the couch next to you, and you put your headset on, and all of a sudden you're just like immersed in the movie, and the characters are kind of talking all around you, and the experience is like really like immersive and brought to life like before your eyes. That's really what I think people want. That's what they want eventually. They want to experience that, and we would love to be one of the early on innovators to give that to them.
Awesome. Sounds amazing. I've never experienced anything like that. The closest thing to what you're describing, I think, was watching like Avatar in 3D or something like that. Right. So you guys are at the cusp and cutting edge of what's going on here with the metaverse and NFTs. Is there any last things you would like to share, Andrew, in particular to the project?
Just because we've got this movie concept, and it's going to take potentially a year and a half to be able to facilitate that. We're obviously NFTs. What's the segue? What's the thing that maintains interest within the community and buyers and whatnot? We are planning an origin story comic series, a digital comic series, where connecting your NFT to that comic will actually render your NFT's metadata and the personality that you bought into that comic. So providing some really cool utility there, but also the ability to earn rewards through the native token in the comic series as well. So yeah, it just keeps coming.
Sounds pretty sweet. And how about you, Coin? Any last things? I'll let you put a bow on it.
I just feel like we're both very grateful to be working on crypto projects right now, because this is just such an incredible time just before like the massive adoption wave could occur. And whether it's like right now in this cycle, or perhaps maybe it's the next cycle, we want to be prepared for that. So if we do see some kind of crypto winter, or just some kind of like really prolonged, like sideways price action, then like I think what will emerge after that cycle is just incredible amounts of crypto adoption, where we're going to break through that ceiling of what some people suggest is like a 1 to 2% of actual real adoption right now. Just imagine what's going to happen when we have 5%, 7%, 10%, possibly moving up to like 15, 20% crypto adoption in another like 10 to 15 years from now. Just imagine that like hyper growth. And so, every day we sit here and we think, when hangry hyper growth, and that's the big question. And we know that we are well positioned for when that is to happen.
Absolutely. I welcome the hangry hyper growth. Let's go. And I appreciate both your time, Andrew and Coin. Thanks for coming on and sharing with my audience. Everyone watching this, go ahead and support them. Check it out for yourself. Do your own due diligence and research. The link is right down below in the description. I appreciate you two gentlemen. Merry Christmas and happy hodling.
Merry Christmas
to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Peace.